Welcome to this week's ML and AI Safety Report. This week we're looking at overfitting, and we are also checking out a compiler for transformer architectures. This week's episode is a bit short because the Mechanistic Interpretability Hackathon is starting later today, and you can join that on itch.io/jam/mechint, MECHINT, or check it out on the Alignment Jam website. It's gonna be super fun, and we'll have Neil Nanda joining as an intro speaker as well. In a recent Anthropic paper, the authors find that overfitting corresponds to the neurons in a model storing data points instead of features. This mostly happens early in training and when we don't have a lot of data, so the model doesn't see many data points. In their experiment, they use a very simple model, a so-called toy model, that is useful when studying these isolated phenomena in detail. In some of the visualizations, they train it on 2D data with T training examples, and as seen here, or in the newsletter, the feature activations, which are blue, look very messy, while the activations to the data points in red look very clean. And this is because there's so little data. And going even deeper in the paper, they find that this generalizes to larger dimensions, in their case 10,000 dimensions, and that the transition from overfitting on smaller datasets data points to generalizing to the actual data features seems to be the reason for the famous double descent phenomenon, where a model sees a dip in performance, but then becomes better afterwards. And on the topic of toy models, DeepMind releases Tracer, which is a compiler that can turn any human-readable code written in the Rasp language, which is super interesting in and of itself. I recommend that you check out the link in the newsletter, into a transformer architecture. And this can be super useful just for studying how algorithms represent themselves in transformer space and to study phenomena of learned algorithms in depth. And in other news, Demis Hassabis, the CEO of DeepMind, one of the foremost AGI labs, is warning the world on the risks of artificial intelligence in a new Time magazine piece. He mentions also that the wealth arising from AGI, or artificial general intelligence, should be redistributed throughout the population, and that we need to make sure it does not fall into the wrong hands when we have developed these extremely powerful technologies. Another piece reveals that OpenAI uses Kenyan workers with less than $2 an hour wage for toxicity identification, which generally seems to be more than the $0.50 an hour average of the capital, Nairobi. Jesse Hoogland releases an exciting piece exploring some of the reasons why and how neural networks generalize. It's very interesting and dives quite deep into some of the learning theoretic stuff, so how models and neural networks and things in general learn things. Neil Nanda also shares more ideas for his series of posts, which introduce 200 problems or ideas in mechanistic interpretability. And Hatfield Dodds from Anthropic shares reasons for hope in AI and claims that high confidence in doom is unjustified, which in general is quite an interesting claim when he's working at Anthropic with some of the state-of-the-art models. And for this week's opportunities, the awesome new website aisafety.training will help us find the best events for you across the world. So, first of all, you can join the EAG conferences happening over the next 4 or 5 months in San Francisco, Cambridge, Stockholm, and London to hear from some of the leading researchers in AI safety participating in these. You can also, of course, join the Mechanistic Interpretability Hackathon, which we implore you to, which it's a great opportunity to kickstart your research journey and get feedback from some of the top researchers on your projects. And apply before the 29th to the ML Safety Introduction course happening in February from the Center of AI Safety. And of course, thank you for joining this week's ML and AI Safety update, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.